welcome today to the Billabong Pro Mundaka 2006 critical event on the World Championship Tour this year. And right now, in the water, Taj Burrow,
Greg Emslie,
and Luke Egan. Well,
Big Louie is back to defend his title. Out from behind the desk, back in the water. There they are, Taj in red, Mr. Emslie in yellow, and Luke Egan in blue. This is one of the heats we've been waiting for. Of course, Taj Burrow still number 2 in the world.
Yeah, Taj needing no introduction to most of our viewers, I would think. One of the finest surfers in the world. 28 years old. Pretty old, really, isn't he now? He's not the little
grommet that refused his first WCT qualification way back in the day.
That's right. Wasn't that a confident move? And he still shows the same confidence in the water all the time, Taj Burrow.
And he wants it. He had a little slip up at the last event in France.
He did, that's right.
Got knocked out early, but he is still in the running for his first world title, and people have been saying for years that Taj Burrow should be a world champion. This could be the year that he proves it to us.
That's right. Well, there's should and then there is. You know,
exactly.
And he hasn't got to the is bit yet, Taj, but he's got a good shot this year, and he's going to be chasing Kelly Slater all the way to the wire. Of course,
with Andy Irons, Mick Fanning, and Joel Parkinson hot on his heels.
Yeah, very much so.
So hey, looks like the rain stopped.
I know it is improving here, ladies and gentlemen. The surf and the conditions are both improving at the moment,
as promised.
As promised by, I think,
Francois Lietz and Craig Sage, our local co-contest director.
Yep, they weren't lying. And up and riding out. Taj Burrow on the first wave of the seat, looking gliding and racing down like boom, a quick off the lip there.
Little re-entry to get things started. He did not have a warm-up surf this morning.
Well, he better have one now.
Yeah, instead he sat on the deck and watched Fanning and Parco and just laughed at them as they paddled out into the flat and the raging river coming out of the Mundaka estuary.
Oh, yeah.
He actually thought it was really funny. The boys paddled out. It was barely light enough to see. The first little ankle snappers had just started breaking, and Parco and Mick were already out there just frothing, paddling against the current, and Taj just is watching them, just cackling, going, what are these guys on?
What are these guys doing? Well, you know, Parco and Mick at this event, they've been keen as beans, man. I mean, Parco's been surfing as much as possible. I mean, yesterday afternoon he was out on the rip bowl down the river mouth, and he was riding a longboard, ladies and gentlemen, riding it like a freaking cat on acid, man. He was unbelievable.
He's still got that fine form that took him through to the Pro France title.
Well, he's not just got that. He's also got the fine form that won him. Okay, get ready for this. The under-14 Sunshine Coast Queensland longboard title way back when. I swear.
You know, Tom Curran's first ever win in a competition was in a bodyboarding contest when he was 8 years old, I believe it was, 8 or 9.
Isn't that sick, hey?
Yeah, just it goes to show these guys not only the world's best surfers, but
they laugh at the illusory barriers of equipment. They can do anything. Amazing stuff. Paddling now and up and riding Taj Burrow on another ride. Off the top. And again, going to try and make it right around this little section. The wave just skates away from him. Taj riding very, very short board.
But keeping his speed up, there's Ira Tufa and Fred Patachia making their way across the Mundaka estuary, the river mouth of the Urdaibai River.
And now you can see how low this tide really is. At high tide, that sandbar, the waves don't even break on it.
Yeah. The water is all the way up to the grass that you see in the background.
Yeah, so there's a huge tidal shift, and these boys have gone right down on the inside so that they can paddle across and come up the back side of the competition setup zone. They're going to have to sprint like maniacs to get that far.
Across that rip. Otherwise, they can just ride the rip, on the other hand, back out the point to the harbor entrance and then climb up the steps.
They'll be sucked. They'll be sucked clean out to sea, you know.
Channel.
Well, now, Greg.
Mere meters from the raging rapids of the river.
That's right. And
no current whatsoever.
No current whatsoever. You can quite casually sit there. Well, Greg Emslie, what a trooper this guy is from South Africa, East London.
In the top 20 this year, one of his probably his best year ever on
probably
tour.
His best year ever. I think
spent a good part of the year in the top 16, actually.
Yeah, he's had a great year this year, Greg. Very consistent, skillful surfer. up against Taj Burrow right now. Taj in the red. Boom, off the top. Off that little bit of foam. Notice his stance here. He's able to drop that knee and drive the rail really flat against the top of the wave, and he gets maximum speed
Picking
out
up
of
speed
his...
through every turn.
Every turn's a speed gainer for little Taji-Waji. The poor little chap.
Sabotage out in the lineup, and surfing pretty well for someone who didn't have a warm-up surf.
Yes, indeed. I guess
he's for Taj.
I'd say he's probably warmed up by now, ladies and gentlemen. He's kind of ready to roll.
Well, he did drink about 10 coffees in the breakfast room this morning. So he's all fired up.
Oh, so much so.
And apparently we're still having a few problems with the audio, if that is the case. Sorry about that. People asking again why it was that Slater did not show up. Here's the Slater situation. The conditions were rather poor the other day. Kelly thought that they wouldn't make it through to his heat during the tide. By the time he did get into the car and try and make his way down here, his heat was already out in the water, so that's why Kelly did miss his heat. He is not out of the contest. He will be surfing in round 2 whenever we manage to get to round 2. And yes, he did receive a fine of $500 for missing that heat and not letting the ASP know about it. So that's the Kelly Slater situation.
Pretty soon we'll be cutting to your friend and mine, Greg GT Tomlinson, on the rocks with Andy Irons. Andy shaking his head coming out of the water. Then he feels, I would reckon he feels pretty lucky about that, just to come through unscathed and make it into round 3, breathing a sigh of relief. There's big Luke Egan in the blue, defending champion at this event, in fact, and he's fighting his way onto the inside there and not quite making it to that second rip bowl section.
No, and wishing that the conditions were a little more similar to those that saw him take out the event in 2004. That's all right. This is only round 1. Once again, we are finishing the last 8 heats of round 1 today.
That's right. Okay, and here's GT with Andy.
Hey there, everybody. Good morning. Mr. Andy Irons, first of all, congratulations on your $2,000 in the Foster's Expression session yesterday.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
That gets the day started anyways a little better. Now, let's talk about the conditions out here. The tide is draining so hard. It's like a treadmill out there, that paddle.
That's pretty wild. It's pretty much like surfing a river. I don't know. I've never done it before, but that would be like what it is, because you're literally kind of going back out to sea as you catch a wave. It's a pretty weird thing.
So it's full of the great river Zambezi out there. And, you know, you're surfing against a good friend and, you know, one of your travel partners, Freddie P. That must not be easy when you're like, okay, dude, I got to go down with you or you're going down or something.
Yeah, that's fine. No one loses in this round. We're just kind of joking around going, what's going on out here? You know, it's just like pretty much just like we're so tired. We're just catching waves to stay inside. They got sucked out a few times, and yeah, we were just laughing, really. We were just going, how weird is this? Not even really a wave right now, but I think it turns into one eventually.
So how do you keep kind of your focus around this thing when there's so much waiting, you know, involved?
Just go numb. All I can do is go numb.
Numb with victory, Andy Irons. You made it to the 3rd round. Congratulations, Andy. Have a great day. Okay, we're back to Nick and the mailman up in the tower.
Okay, right on. Thanks, GT. Thanks, Andy, for the time and trouble. And yeah. And there's a winner from our first heat of the morning, heat number 9, round 1, Andy Irons. And right now in the water, Taj Burrow, Greg Emslie, and Luke Egan. Looks like Greg is going to paddle for this wave. The boy in yellow, up and riding. Well, Greg's been one man who's been doing a ton of surfing here at Mundaka every day out there on the inside section, and you can see it paying off here. He's in good touch right now, Greg, pulling and elevating off, and outside, defending champ Luke Egan gets a pit.
Oh, we wanted to see him come out of that.
Oh, man.
That's all right, though. He's, you know, just kind of getting back into rhythm with the river mouth here in Mundaka. As you said, Emslie, you know, has been out in the water every second of the day, and basically it kind of shows. You know, the surfers who've been surfing the best out here have been spending a lot of time in the water, maybe with the exception of Taj, who's just ruling it right now without having any kind of warm-up surf. Haven't seen Taj in the water actually at all.
No, I haven't seen him in the water at all either.
But Fanning, Parko, Andy's had a bit of a splash. And apparently, well, that's Ira Tarina Tufa and GT once again. Don't know if we're going to get it. Oh, no, with Sam Carrier, sorry.
That's right.
They're wearing the same clothes. Sam Carrier, the Billabong Europe team manager. talking with Ira Tarina Tufa, and of course Tahiti maybe in French Polynesia in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, but as they do speak French in our French territory, we consider them Europeans in this neck of the woods.
Oh, I bet you do.
Euroforce members, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I bet there's a bit of claiming goes on there.
Plenty of claiming, believe you me. And there's the lineup once again. Still plenty of current rolling through the peak there, but as you can see, the currents died down a bit. The boys have managed to sit out in the channel.
It has backed off a little bit, this current, and it will continue to do so from now on. I think the tide is slowly beginning to moderate. As it begins to rise again, it'll just fill everything in, and you won't see a rip at all for a couple of hours. And I think then we're going to see the best conditions of the day. The swell will probably surge a little bit on the back of that and come in with the tide, and we'll see some really nice waves.
Maybe about 15, 20 minutes off the low tide, so things should be cleaning up. Already the rain has stopped. That's positive. And we just need the sun to come out and the wind to go offshore. Although we'll take it. Right now it's glassy out there. It looks a bit bumpy from that long shot, but the wave faces themselves are plenty glassy. And as you saw from the last few waves, that last heat and the first few waves of Taj in this one, things are getting better and better as we go through the day.
And now, this lineup—it's got its own tricks and turns, and I think we're now we're going to bring you a little interview with Greg Emslie, the man you see on the screen there. Greg's going to tell us a little bit about how a professional surfer prepares for an event here at Mundaka.
Because there's a chance they might only get 2 heats out the way, and you pretty much got to be ready for everything. And so I pretty much wake up early, look at if there's a possibility of an early surf before the contest, and then sort of see how the swell's looking, try gauge how many heats they'll do before the tide gets too high, and then sort of take it from there. Either have breakfast, get ready for my heats, go through the day, have my afternoon siesta because we are in Spain, and relax, and then wake up and be all lively, from like 4 onwards, and maybe they start the contest again, have dinner at like 8 or 9 o'clock and get to bed by 11.
Right on, thanks, Greg. Words of wisdom there from a surfer right now in the lineup, Greg Emslie from South Africa. And, coming up very shortly out there, the next heat, if you're just joining us here at Mundaka, this is the Billabong Pro 2006 at Mundaka in Spain, in the Basque Country, northern Spain. And we are up and running in round 1.
We've just seen Andy Irons take out Fred Patachia and Hira Tirina Tufa, one of our wild cards, of course, quarterfinalists at the Billabong Pro Tahiti. Hira Tirina Tufa here at another perfect left-hand, reef-like break anyways. Perfect sand bottom river mouth. In the heat, currently in the water, Taj Burrow, Greg Emslie, and Luke Egan. And once again, as you just said, Nick, Big Phil Maka coming up against Nathan Hedge, Mr. Hot Doggy, and Aaron Montero. That's going to be another good one. The conditions are cleaning up. We had plenty of questions earlier about why we were running in these conditions. And I'll let you go back to the explanation about our tidal swings and all the rest of it if you'd like.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, look, I think for viewers that have been with us for the last half hour, the reasons will be increasingly obvious. You can see just how quickly the conditions change out here. This means that our window for competition each day is pretty small. We're only going to get 4 to 6 hours of stuff done each day, and so
which
from
is
now
not even enough time to get through a round.
So we've got to be real sharp and get things done and not mess around. When it happens, it happens, and even if we get going and the conditions are subpar at the beginning of a round, later on we know they're going to get better and better. And now up and riding, I think it's Luke Egan drops in really late. I think Luke had his eye on a barrel there, but he just got down the face a little bit too slowly for that to happen.
He's using Andy's strategy, sitting straight out on the takeoff spot of the locals bowl, actually, because if you come and surf here, have a free surf, if you try and go paddle out and take off from that spot, you will not catch a wave.
You serious?
No, seriously. There's a pack of about 10 locals, and you have to sit. Even Tom Curran sits at the next section where Emslie and the rest of them are trying to take off. So no, that
Okay.
that rip is really reserved for the locals.
Lucky them.
Yeah.
They're going to be stoked with that. They can sit in the rip all day.
They sit in the rip all day, but they also get the sick pits from the takeoff, which is what Luke is trying to do. And the rest of the boys sitting a little bit farther down the lineup from Luke. So two different strategies. We saw Andy try and use that strategy, and it didn't quite work. At the end of it, he had to move down.
Yeah.
Move down the river mouth a little bit, down the sandbank.
And then that paid off quite quickly for him,
Yes,
snatching the win pretty easily.
But if Luke can get one of those sick pits and make it through the next section,
man, it's all
watch
over.
out the excellent wave scores.
Yeah, man, he'll be like up there in the 9s and getting some good scores. Some heavy wave. Here's a heavy wave moving into this contest zone, up and riding Luke Egan. And he's bashed his way through the first section, tries to pull into the second, a little bit of a cover up there for the big fella, and he comes unstuck. Smack down there from good old Mundaka. As it says, in fact, Dave, on the back of everybody's T-shirts here at the Mundaka, the official competition T-shirt, on the back it says, "She's back, and she's angry."
And smacking Luke down to the sand on that one. Apparently in a few seconds we'll be going over to an interview with GT, with Troy Brooks. Troy Brooks apparently has pulled those knee ligaments once again and is officially out of the contest. And that'll be coming up in just a few seconds. There's Luke, kind of shades of the expression session from yesterday. And here we go, Nick, over to GT.
Good on you.
In our never-ending quest to find the stories that matter to you most, it just came across a news wire from the tour manager, Renato Hickel, is that Troy Brooks, unfortunately, is going to be pulling out of this event today as he hobbled his knee last week in France during the super session, that, the big waves that they got last week. And unfortunately, Troy Brooks is out, and that means that Billabong wildcard Corey Arambidi will be in. Now, right now, he's scheduled to surf in Heat 14 against Bruce Irons and Chris Ward. Corey's currently in France, so he's racing down here. But, if Corey makes it to Heat 14 in time, he's out there. If not, he'll go right into the second round. So Troy Brooks is out with a hobbled MCL, and Corey Arambidi from Southern California is in. All right. How's that for journalism, boys?
Okay, and what we hear there from competition directors is that we do have a replacement for Troy Brooks. But right now, let's watch Luke Egan smash, hacks off the top. Luke, defending champion here at Mundaka, coming out of retirement, just to show everybody what's what, and a great wave there for Luke Egan. I'd hesitate to say that's
left off in 2004, eh, Nick?
Man, that may well be the best wave of the heat so far. News from competition directors is that the injured Troy Brooks has been replaced by local wildcard Corey Arambidi.
Actually, he's from California.
Show off.
But the largest population of Basques outside of the Basque Country is in California.
Yes, they're drawn to the bright lights in the big city, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Who wouldn't be?
Sick of the tuna fishing boats and the small ports and the rain.
Yeah, we want a slab of that movie money. Right?
Actually, no doubt. And the Basques actually brought over their fishing heritage and their wine growing heritage as well to California. And if you go up to the Napa Valley and you look around, you actually realize there's plenty of Basque names up there. So Corey Arambide, as they call him in California, dude, or Corey Arambidi, as they pronounce it here, exactly, will be our young California Basque surfer moving into the last wild card spot and replacing, or actually playing the role of injury alternate, taking over for an injured Troy Brooks.
Well, lucky kid, huh?
Oh, yes. More than lucky. Well, I guess luck did play a big part in it. Too bad for Troy. He was actually scheduled as one of the original wild cards. And then with Ira's performance and, of course, Luke accepting his spot back in the main event, kind of Corey got the short end of the stick and was taking advantage of Troy's injury to get back into the thick of things. So who will he be coming up against? Bruce Irons and Chris Ward. How's that for a trial by fire?
Yeah, it's a bit of a wake-up call. I dare say, though, that Corey, I don't know how his runs are on the board. I'm not sure what his, I don't know, the top areas of his expertise are, if he's a bit more of a tube riding guy or if he's a bit more of a slasher or aerialist or what, But what will count for a lot today, I reckon, is just enthusiasm, man. If you can paddle out and be enthusiastic about the conditions and take them on, and if you've had a good look at the waves and you've figured out exactly what's going to work and what isn't going to work, then you might actually steal a bit of a march on a top-ranked surfer and really put the wind up him. You can see Bruce up there. He's looking
hanging out with Brada Pancho.
Yep, he's focusing on the conditions. He's not walking away from this situation at all. He's a surfer who loves good waves and who really rises to the occasion. The better and heavier and thicker the surf gets, it really seems to suit that very graceful and elegant style of Bruce Irons. But and he has risen to the occasion in worse surf than this on occasion this year. Particularly, seems to have really put his head down and gone, look, I've got to learn the ropes when it's crappy too, So I've no doubt he can manage something out here today.
He'll be coming up at the end of the morning. He doesn't like those first heat of the day scenarios. He's not a morning person.
Not a morning person.
No, definitely not. No, in France, in his the heat that he went out in, actually everyone was calling it, okay, Bruce doesn't even need to paddle out because it's at 8 in the morning, so he's just going to lose.
Yeah, he's going to lose. Well, you can see walking down the rocks there,
Nathan Hedge,
a bloke to whom Mundaka is somewhat of a second home, Nathan Hogg Hedge, and he's become renowned over the years for his mega marathon paddle sprints out to the island, out the back of Mundaka and back in again.
Which he did again. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Day before yesterday.
And solo mission.
We'll be talking to Nathan about that a bit later. But up and riding now, Taj Burrow. First wave he's ridden in ages. Taj squeaks around this section, really leaning on the concave of the back end of his board there to drive around that second section. But the wave not allowing him much more. And a quick floater move and bam, off the back.
Solid nonetheless, and sorry for everyone out there, we do not have our live scores, so little crimp in our style, but none whatsoever in Taj's. One of the quickest surfers on tour, showing us why.
And you can see there on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, there's Mike Parsons, the competition director, and his look at Parsons' face, man.
He's intense, huh?
He's intense, and you can see his like stress levels have been rising slowly over the last couple of days.
Every day, every morning.
It becomes more and more apparent that this event is going to test the director's patience. Up and riding now at the back, Greg Emslie, beautiful floater, but the wave gets away from him and peels off down the line a bit quick for anybody backside or front side. If you're just logging on with us this morning, welcome to the Billabong Pro Mundaka for 2006. We're so happy you can be with us here today in the Basque Country, round number 1. We're going to get through round number 1 today for sure. Up and riding, you can see Taj now. Watch him come down off this and then lean back onto the back of the concave and elevate that second turn. And then he comes down, you can see he dropped his knees, and now watch the acceleration that comes out of this little bottom turn to elevate himself up for that last floater. Oh, really nice technical surfing there from Taj. Second nature, he wouldn't even have been thinking about that, but you could see him squeeze into that concave and get that little bit of energy to lift
all
up into the legs.
Which is what separates the good from the great.
That's right. Now paddling, and it looks like Luke Egan up and riding, and this one's going to line up and move fast down the wall.
A beautiful wave.
But man, who but Luke could make this wave, man? He's just going to drive right around this little section. Boom, up off the top. Really looking confident and casual and smooth, and you know what?
Kind of like Parko, he just is so fluid, just makes it look so easy when it's really not.
Yeah, it's really disgusting. And you know what? People were going, Luke, he's been behind a desk, But you know what? That guy looks anything but out of shape. He looks anything but out of tune. In fact, I reckon, he may well have been enjoying his surfing more than ever over the last 6 months.
Oh, for sure.
And just the fact the fact of being away from this scene for a while can really bring you back with a lot of enthusiasm. There's Greg Emslie just punching out through the back of that wave.
Just wave selection really coming into play as well, as we can see there. Taj and Louis both managing to link together a few turns, and Emslie trying to lift his surfing to keep up with these two.
So you can see Taj
picking the closeouts, it looks like.
You can see Taj now scratching over toward the shoulder, looking at this wave. It's only going to be a short wall, is it? No, it's standing up on the sandbar. Off goes Taj down the line. You can see that drop knee coming out of the top turn that sets that rail so quickly for Taj. Beautiful off the top floater move there, but the move ends in a closeout.
Now, Mundaka is not yet to its normal perfect self, although we're to the end of the low tide. Looks like the river current has definitely slowed down a bunch here. People are definitely cleaning up. Visibility's better. Splashy. Now we just need that light offshore to keep those sections from breaking out in front of them.
Yeah, look, I really suspect that improvement is on the cards this morning out here at Mundaka. It's already starting to look like a relatively normal wave. That whole riptide effect has been drained right out of it now. And if anything, it kind of looks like one of the Queensland right point breaks that flop back the other way, maybe like Burley Heads or something like that. Just flop back the other way. And so as the wave opens up, we begin to see the surfers enjoying themselves more and more. Greg Emslie racing down the line here off the top. Oh, another big floater, but you saw that.
That last section just runs away from him. You can't see as well as we can, but it's really bendy.
Yeah, the lip really jumped back and smacked Greg as he came down off the top then and just pushed that board out from underneath him. Luke Egan getting a fairly inconsequential ride. He's already got a couple of really good ones, Luke, and might have had hopes for that one, but they didn't eventuate.
And what do you reckon, Nick? Mundaka much more difficult on your backhand than on your forehand.
Until the wave really opens up and gets a bit more solid, it's a real trick backside this spot. It's a little bit harder to sight, and it gives you that feeling that you want to be a little bit more ahead of it than you really need to be.
Definitely.
And so it's a patient, calm surfer who can stay back in the pocket of this wave and surf it to its true potential backside. I think these guys are all right there with that. Their natural surfing approach is much tighter than everybody else's, and you can see this right now. Taj
making it look easy on the other hand.
Yeah, surfing tight and staying with it. Notice Taj he's got all that speed. He can draw on that speed when he wants through that beautiful style with which he can just set that rail as he comes down the face, up a little floater, and you can watch him set it now, watching that wave, goes up, boom. And he knows right there that he's made this move, and he just makes it look a little bit prettier with a little bit of a flick up of the nose as he comes back down.
And you can see at the end as the wave just runs away from him. But interesting to note as well, Nick, not one vertical maneuver in there, all down the line surfing for the backsider. Got to keep that speed up to make it through those sections.
That's right. And it's
one of the fastest guys on tour, too.
One of the fastest guys on tour. And it's not just the wave, it's the water, man. I can't emphasize this enough. The water quality at Mundaka, it's
the fresh water mixing with the salt.
That's right. The freshwater thing means that there's nothing to rest on, you need to keep your speed up. And now up and riding. Here he goes again. The bunny rabbit. Taj Burrow throwing his board up for a quick air. An inconsequential wave once again.
Bunny rabbit, the Energizer bunny. Sabotage, throwing up a little backside air there.
Yeah, he's unstoppable.
He's really in rhythm with the wave this morning. Looks like he's just out having a free surf, actually, which is, I guess, the kind of mindset you want to be in out here.
I suspect so, yeah.
As long as it's a ripping free surf.
Well, we've had a bit of news about our newly arrived wildcard. You heard earlier GT updating us about the status of Troy Brooks, the seeded surfer who's had to withdraw this morning thanks to a recurrent knee injury. He's been replaced by
in France and confirmed by the doctors down here that he cannot do it. And he's been replaced by 16-year-old Californian Corey Arambidi.
That's right. And we've had a message in from Steve of California who competes with Corey, and Steve fills us in. He says Corey's more of a small wave surfer, does a lot of air reverses in the small waves, and, well, sounds like he might be right in his happy zone out here at Mundaka today.
On the end section, anyways, if he tries to take off directly from the peak, be wanting to work more on his tube riding prowess rather than his backside air reverses, but there's a little bit something for everyone out there. And straight out of the Billabong